Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises unto YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, YAHAWAH, YAHAWAH being the name of the Heavenly Father, whom the world ignorantly calls God, and YAHAWASHI being the name of the Son, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Shalom to my double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and shalom to my YAHAWAH who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity. This is Brother Kawakub coming at you with another lesson. 2 Timothy chapter 4 verse 3, for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lusts shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. Also, Matthew 24 verse 12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. There's two, we're going to go into the lesson on how, today's lesson is going to be about how there's a lot of evil in the world right now. And as a result of that, there are in fact some people that are kind of seeking some sort of guidance into living a proper and happy life, which is where the teachers come in, which is in 2 Timothy chapter 4 verse 3, the first verse that I read. In addition to that, the thing is that a lot of these teachers, they are really hypocrites, and they tend, I'm not saying always, but they tend to prey upon the insecurities of the masses of people in order to fill their pockets. All right, we see this with the Christian church. We see this we see this in the Christian church primarily. All right, I'll just say that. But lately, I have been noticing that not necessarily on a too big of a scale, because I do feel like there is some need as well as some sincerity that comes from this other group, which is fresh and fit. Now, the thing is, I will say that a lot of the stuff that they say about women primarily, it is very good thing. They do a good job at calling out the BS that these OnlyFans models or women do, and how they are in fact treating men terribly. That in itself is a good thing, but the problem with them comes from them telling men telling them to follow after a secular lifestyle, which is not helpful, and it's ironic because they both claim to say that they believe in a higher power, but yet they're not doing the things that said higher power that they believe in would approve of. All right, and they promote the higher power and the beliefs said higher power pleasing. I think one of them is a Muslim and the other one is a Christian. So of course they say, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go do all this stuff, and then I'm going to ask for forgiveness later. All right, like I'm going to intentionally do all this wickedness and evilness. So there is that whole issue which I cannot get behind and I cannot approve of. So we do have this whole hypocrisy in it, in the sense that you have people that are going to them, all right, and trying to teach them the right ways, but yet they're not going about, number one, a truly 100% right. That there's also that the story that just popped with one of the dudes, I think it was Fresh, I think it was him, where what he was telling these men not to do, not to get a woman pregnant, and yet he himself went out and did it. Bear with me one moment. Slovakia. So as a result of that, his whole everything that he's been preaching, it's like, okay, so you're telling me to do all this stuff. But yet you yourself, you're not doing the stuff that you're telling everyone else to do, all the other men to do. So that just goes to show the hypocrisy. In addition to that, it's like now it's like there's no proper standards in Babylon. Okay, which is why I brought this up, Matthew chapter 24 verse 12, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. There's no proper standards on, okay, so you need to keep me at this standard and I keep you at this standard. We're not going to break this social contract that we have amongst each other. All right, as I'm teaching you, and of course if I'm teaching you, if I'm showing you X, Y, and Z and how to do something, then of course I would be following after the same thing, which that's something that me as a teacher, I'll speak for myself only. Me as a preacher, okay, I try to as well practice the things that I preach as well. Okay, like with the whole because I've gone on videos in that show Jake just fighting with the cops. I've said multiple times, agree with that adversary quickly. And for me personally, okay, I think I've already spoken on this before, maybe I haven't, but for me, whenever I have gotten not arrested but pulled over by the police, all right, like I agree with them. I just say, okay, yes, this, then, and third, I provide whatever they ask for, but also at the same time, I have to give the disclaimer that the Lord made it so that these cops aren't even going to make things into a big issue. All right, so you really have to, a lot of times, all right, you really have to. It is lucky. It's not necessarily you really have to, but a lot of times it tends to be Jake that turns things into an issue. Okay, and this was a sad reality that I had to come to terms with. Come to terms myself when I had seen this thing. And now obviously when I was learning about this this study, all right, I had a bias, and then I said, okay, well, I hate cops, so obviously I'm going to think that they are just trying to kill Jake needlessly. All right, so that was my bias in it. All right, funnily enough, the person, it was a Jake that was doing the study. He went and put himself in the position to go and do the study himself, so he was actually a part there, and he was actually seeing everything that was going on. He had that exact same bias. All right, so when he was doing the study, he made the realization as he saw and recorded all the numbers and all this stuff like that. It was actually, in fact, Jake is the one that's creating situations to put themselves in. It was usually Jake. I'm not gonna say it's never the police, okay, but it was usually Jake that is putting themselves in situations kind of aggravate and antagonize the police in order to make it so that there is some sort of deadly weapon drawn. All right, so as a result of that, and obviously I didn't want to believe it, all right, but at the same time, like, he didn't want to believe it either. Okay, so I'm over here thinking like, I can't believe this, I don't want to believe it, but then this exact same Jake was also saying I didn't want to believe it either, but this is the fact. This is the study that I did. I literally went in and I came in here trying to prove that police are always, whenever there's a Jake or whatever, some bad stuff happening to a Jake, the police are always at fault. But in actuality, he revealed, and I'm saying this because now I see it. Well, now I see it, and I'm able to accept reality. Okay, that's the thing that we all need to do ourselves. Okay, because we cannot be, and that's the thing what I had to do in order to not be a hypocrite, in order to best be honest to the truth, because I'm not siding with Jake, I'm not siding with the police, I'm siding with the truth. And this is the thing that we need to understand. Okay, we can't side with anyone, we can't have biases, we can only side with the truth. Okay, and the truth is YAHAWASHI, all right, no matter what. All right, and this is just how things go. So as a result of that, as I had previously stated before, to not be a hypocrite, I never aggravated, or slightly not aggravated, but antagonized the police myself. So obviously when I'm put in a situation where I have to deal with the police, which I have to deal with them, a few times now, a couple of times now, they never did anything to me. I mean, yes, there I will say that there were some times where there was some racial profiling, but I was able to get out of. The Lord delivered me out of that situation, because I didn't make it a bigger thing. I didn't act all proud, and that's the thing about Jacob. Okay, not Jacob, but Jake. Because whenever I say Jake, I mean 2/3 more specifically. For Jake, they are proud. They get proud. They think they get entitled. They think that the world revolves around them, which that's also a byproduct of how the society has become in general, where people think that the world revolves around them, and them as individuals are the most important thing in the world, and everything else is not important. All right, and they ignore the people that are around them. As a result, they feel that they can do whatever they want. All right, which the sad reality of it is, when you hear these Jakes saying, "Oh yeah, I teach my kid how to handle the police," but apparently it's like a small minority, or more reasonably so, like they don't actually teach them, because especially in recent times, a lot of I kind of want to say that a lot of times, parenting in recent years, I guess more recently, 5 years or something, maybe more, it hasn't really been a thing. People don't really parent their children. All right. So slocky about getting off on a tangent, but like let's go back to the original topic of being a hypocrite. This is a big thing that if you're preaching something, you really have to practice it as well. Okay, like we're supposed to be humble in this truth. We can't be prideful. We can't think, oh well, yeah, because Slocky, that's another thing that YAHAWASHI didn't do. YAHAWASHI wasn't proud. He was very humble. He was promised dominion over the whole world, over all the nations, referring to Daniel chapter 7 verse 13 to 14. All right, like this is crazy. Now Romans chapter 1 verse 25, who changed the truth of Yahweh into a lie and worship and serve the creature more than the creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. And this is what we see, going back to the whole Christian church thing. Okay, this is the type of evilness that we see now more so than ever, because you have these Christian pastors that are preaching and doing all this stuff, saying in the public. All right, let me also get this if I can find it. Okay, the YAHAWASHI. Matthew chapter 6 from the top. Take heed that ye do not your alms before men, to be seen of them, otherwise ye have no reward of your Father which is in heaven. Therefore, when thou doest thine alms, do not sound trumpet before thee, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may have glory of Yahweh. Slakia, let me read that again. Matthew chapter 6 verse 2. Therefore, when thou doest thine alms, do not sound a trumpet before thee, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may have glory of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward. But when thou doest alms, let not that. Well, actually, let me go into that first. So, firstly, it shows in verse 1 that if you do something to be seen of men, okay, there's no reward from YAHAWASHI. And in verse 2, when it says they have the reward, it's whatever reward that they're seeking to get from men. All right, like all the praises and stuff like that. But there's no actual genuine rewarding from, there's no genuine rewarding from YAHAWASHI or the actual, exaltation that the Lord has reserved for specifically those that do right. All right. Now, verse 3. But when thou doest alms, let not thy left hand know what thy right hand doeth. Thine alms may be in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret himself shall reward thee openly. So when we do something good in secret, okay, or if we do something not to be when you do something not to be seen of men, not to be praised by men or anything like that, then that's when the Lord's going to reward us. Like, oh, it's like for example, say for example, I get like this new freaking car or whatever, then everyone will see, oh wow, how did he get this car? Like, I thought he didn't have the money, this and the third, blah blah blah. And then the Lord provided because I helped someone out, I did something that the Lord wanted me to do. I was doing my alms in secret, and I didn't publicize it for everyone to say, oh my God, you're so righteous, you're so good and stuff like that. All right, so this is the whole this is the reward of the hypocrisy. Okay, like that's that whole, not quote unquote reward of the hypocrisy. There's no good that comes into a bit more of this. Matthew 24 verse 51. And shall cut him asunder and appoint him his portion with the hypocrites. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So among the hypocrites, there's going to be the reward, quote unquote reward, which I was talking about, which is the death and destruction. All right, that is the true reward from YAHAWASHI, because we're not supposed to be looking for validation from people or men or anyone. We're supposed to be looking for validation from YAHAWASHI. Let's get that. Okay. Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yahweh and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. And this is our goal. The Lord didn't tell us go and make everyone love you, go and make everyone speak well. What does the scriptures say about that? Okay, Luke chapter 6 verse 22. Blessed are ye when men shall hate you, and when they shall separate you from their company, and shall reproach you, and cast out your name as evil for the Son of Man's sake. Rejoice ye in that day, and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven. For in the like manner did their fathers unto the prophets. Okay, now verse 24. But woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation. Woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep. Woe unto you when all men shall speak well of you, for so did their fathers to the false prophets. But I say unto you, which hear, that's basically it. The matter of when we are hated, all right. The Lord is, when we are hated, we're not seen as, oh yeah, you're doing all this stuff just to be seen, praised by other people, all right, not necessarily, not YAHAWASHI. Okay, when you're doing something just for the sake of getting praise from other people, then that's one thing. But when you're doing something just to be praised by YAHAWASHI, that's where the true reward comes in. Okay, because when these people have these people that are praising them and saying, oh, you're such a good person, you're the greatest and whatnot, all right, yet they go behind their back and are, hypocrites, okay, then, what's waiting for them, all right? Death and destruction, all right? Death and destruction as was first shown in Matthew 24, verse 51, right? And, that's the reward of the hypocrites. With that in mind, all right, it also ties into these people today where they follow after. Oh, there was that one. Okay, Slakia, I was about to, let's not go into that. Basically, one of the biggest key things is how people today, all right, they do seek some sort of guidance. And that's the thing. When in today's current day and age, guidance is very scarce. Or it's like not necessarily that, but life has become a lot harder compared to 20, 30, 50 years ago. All right, so it's a lot harder to live, and as a result of that, people tend to, especially like in terms of like the whole, because there are certain or a lot more young boys have conservative values, and they want to just have kids, they want to have a family, but because of how Esau, and that's another thing. Oh, perfect. Ties in perfectly with the whole feminist movement, tying into the whole fresh and fit thing. Well, how they talk about how that's wrong. There's also the other side where Esau is trying to tell these women how to live their lives. Like they're telling these women that these women are being oppressed when they don't go out and sleep with a bunch of men, and that's the dumbest. It's just so stupid. Anyway, as a result of that, you have a bunch of these women, all right, that are what's the word? That are going after or seeking after, not necessarily seeking after, are sleeping with a bunch of dudes, and they can't. And when they get to a certain spot where they say, okay, well now I want to, settle down and get married, and then they can't because nobody wants them because they freaking had OnlyFans or some shit like that. All right, they've been ran through. They're defiled, and even then, even the Babylonian men, they don't even want them. All right, and it's primarily these. Well, funnily enough, it's the conservative men that know, like sleeping with a bunch of men is wrong, and I don't like that. They don't want them. That's number one. Number two, the liberal men. All right, I freaking hate. I don't want to say that, but as well as but the liberal men as well. They don't want them because they don't want to get married. They don't want to be quote unquote tied down. All right, and it's not the lifestyle that they want, because liberals, they don't want to have children, but conservatives want to have children, which I also talked about that as well in another lesson, how conservatives are having children, and as a result of that, because liberals can't have children, liberals are trying to get into those teacher roles in order to corrupt the conservatives' children. All right, so yeah, as a result, so we see that whole corruption that is going on. And I was about to say cycle, but it's not necessarily a cycle, and YAHAWAH it doesn't become a cycle. All right, because we see all the signs that are coming to pass. We see how much closer we're getting to the end. All right, so as a result of that, as a result of that, we see all the hypocrisy in, especially in primarily the whole liberal movement. I want to say liberal movement. It is most accurate to say liberal movement. All right, where they are, where they don't want children, they don't have children themselves. So you have a bunch of these liberal women, all right, that are unable to find relationships. And then the crazy thing is it is these women that are going online to complain. They're going online to say, oh yeah, I love being single, this, that, and third. Like, and that's the crazy thing That is the crazy thing about it. Like, the today's generation, current generation, has gotten to a point where everyone's just complaining, showing off and talking about all their personal businesses online for everyone to see. It's, in my opinion, just speaking as a man, like, that just, but whatever, I guess. I mean, I guess show the world how fucked up you are, show the world how trauma you are. Like, they just want to get some sort of, like, fame and notoriety and whatnot. Like, it's just, like, for what? Anyway, moving on. Slakia, moving on. Let's get back into this. Matthew chapter 23, verse 2, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, to observe and do, but do not ye after their works, for they say, and do not, for they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. So let's break this down one at a time. They are applying a bunch of different I have to actually save this, I'm not gonna lie. Basically they're applying a bunch of different burdens, as in, like, these are the standards, these are the ways that you have to live, okay, as I was just talking about how, these, famous people. And that's another thing that was recently found out with this one Twitch streamer, Hassan Abi. Okay, basically I don't know exactly what he believed, but he basically, for the most part, like, liberal and whatnot. But it was found out that he doesn't believe in any of this stuff, and he doesn't live the stuff that he himself, preaches. All right, and like, I think he actually just openly said, like, I just don't care about actually living that stuff myself. Betrayal to his fans and stuff like that, because once again, you have these people that are seeking after, looking towards these types of role models on how to live, yet those same role models aren't following after it. All right, so, like, imagine that. Imagine, like this is gonna be fun. This should be funny. Like, imagine me. All right, I'm over here preaching and teaching this gospel, but I go to the strip club and just, like, it's just a wild thing. Like, that's kind of wild. Anyway, yeah, it's just, this is how Babylon is right now. These people are just trying to teach just for filthy lucre. Okay, they're just trying to fill their pockets. They don't actually care about the people, nor do they care about the message that they're actually trying to put out there. They're just trying to fill their pockets. That's the main goal, and they don't have any burdens on themselves. It's just the burden that they put on other people. All right, it's do as I say, not as I do. Verse 5, but all their works they do for to be seen of men, they make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments. Okay, they, as we went into it before, they say, oh yeah, look, I'm supporting liberal businesses, we're treating women bad, we're telling women how to live, blah blah blah. What's the other one? Churches are helping poor homeless people out, but then behind closed doors, that's when they go buck wild and just do the complete opposite of what they were preaching. Verse 7, and greetings in the market, to be called of men Rabbi, Rabbi, but to be called Rabbi, for one is your master, even Hamashiach, and all are your brethren. And all ye are brethren, and call no man your father upon the earth, for one is your Father which is in heaven. Neither be ye called masters, for one is your master, even Hamashiach. So basically, like, you guys, or not you guys, but everyone, we in general, we're not supposed to be having said role models, okay, in the form of men. There are, yes, prophets that we are supposed to, heed the warnings heeding the warnings to, but at the same time, it's not. And Slaki, that's another thing. Let me actually get that. Bear with me. Bear with me. Wow, that's crazy. Alright, so Philippians chapter 2 verse 12, wherefore my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Okay, so yes, we have the prophets that are out there preaching and teaching this gospel to the lost sheep that need to hear this gospel, that need to hear it. But at the same time, there comes a point where, as you are hearing, as you are learning, you're supposed to kind of like break away and become self-sufficient or independent from the prophets yourself. And what I mean by that is you need to be knowledgeable on the scriptures yourself, because you can't ride on someone else's coattail. You're not going to say, okay, well, I'm going to get on Elder Apostle Tahar's going to deliver me and help me make it into the kingdom. That's not what's going to happen. It's through your own studying. Okay, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. It's only you can get yourself into the kingdom of heaven through your making yourself knowledgeable on the scriptures, all right, as well as putting in the work to discipline yourself and to keep the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability, and just all the things that go into it. Of course, at the same time, there's no I don't say that to mean that your works is going to be what delivers you. It's a matter of doing the best that you can to make sure that the Lord picks you, showing the Lord that you want to be delivered, showing that pick me mindset. All right, you have to be a pick me mindset, and being the better Israelite. All right, out of all these 2/3, okay, you have to improve and be better than all these demonic these demons, all right, these demonic jakes, Slakia, all right. Finally, Job 15 verse 34, for the congregation of hypocrites shall be desolate, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery. Now this is basically it. I already said it before previously, but just to bring it home, like this type of hypocrisy, it's going to be met with they're going to be judged for their thing. We cannot be out here preaching one thing but going behind people's backs and doing another. Okay, like the Lord, I would be so off and so wrong if I didn't put the Lord's wisdom into practice myself for my own situations, because number one, it does work, and it is right. It is the right thing. Just the same way as treat your mother, treat your father, treat your wife, teacher, whatever, with respect. All right, which is sound advice, and it's a good thing to do. But they themselves, they're not doing it. All right, so this are good advice to follow after, but like they can't be a hypocrite in things. All right, you have to follow after the advice that you give as well. So with that, I hope this was edifying. I pray that this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praises unto Yahawah, Ba'ashem, YAHAWASHI, Ba'ashem, RICANS. Double honors to the elders, God, Babal, and Shalom.